Thanks very much. Thanks to our guests for being here today and for joining us for the Alternate Universe series. The reason why we call it the Alternate Universe, frankly, is because all the questions and the comments and the issues that people have in general don't seem to be answered by the current universe. So we thought there must be an alternate universe somewhere where we will all land with both feet on the ground. And the rules of the business and the rules of people, what is it going to be in the alternate universe? That's why we call it the alternate universe. But the other reason also is that there were three factors actually that we felt distinguish this and make it very, very different. Number one is that the crisis is at many, many levels, right? It is not an economic crisis. It is not a business going into problems. It's a crisis at a people level. It's a crisis at the level of civilization. It's a crisis at the business level. It's a crisis even at the economy level as a whole. The second thing I think is that the crisis seems to be unprecedented. In our experiences, nobody is able to think back and say, in 1956, I handled this and I know how to do it, etc. It's completely unprecedented. And third part is, and that's the reason for seeking your advice at this point and your guidance, is that it's almost like a dark tunnel. Because it is unprecedented, our capability to predict the future is very weak at this point in time. So it's a little bit of a dark tunnel where we need people like yourselves who are running organizations to actually come in and shine a torch and a little bit show the world what is likely to happen in the near or the distant future. So that's why the reason why we call it the alternate universe, and that's the background why we are having these conversations today. So over to you if you want to add something to this.
No, absolutely. I think this crisis is unprecedented, and this is the disruption of a totally different order, which no one had seen in our lifetimes, and no one had anticipated, and it is at multiple levels. So definitely, it's a very, very big thing. And today, businesses, especially if you look at the commercial vehicle industry, we were already going through a very, very difficult phase, and so this is a sort of double whammy for the auto industry, or especially commercial vehicle industry, because we were already going through a very difficult period, and on top of it, now this has happened. So it's a very, very difficult situation, and today I think no one knows that what's going to happen, and the biggest worry is uncertainty, that what is going to happen. So now basically what we have to do is a lot of scenarios planning. So
absolutely. That brings us to the first theme actually, and which is that, so as you look 12 to 18 months from now, and what do you see unfolding?
The first take is that cash management is going to be very, very important. So
absolutely.
If the businesses are not able to manage cash properly, then in any case they are dead.
They are dead.
So cash management is number one priority, and then of course we have to find a way out, whether you want to do it from your treasuries or you want to borrow money from the banks. Each company will have a different strategy, but of course to extract cash wherever it is blocked, if it is there in the receivables, you have to get the money out. If it is there in some other working capital items, you have to get the money out, and then of course you have to take care of your obligations towards suppliers, towards other current liabilities, and wherever possible, maybe you will also talk to some people. Wherever you can get some better terms, you will always negotiate that. So I think how you manage cash is going to determine your success. So that is number one, and the second will be to adjust your business model to the current reality. Now, because you have to cut down your break-even levels, you have to, because end of the day, you would like to remain in profits in whatever scenarios you are in. So even if your volumes are down, how do you adjust yourselves to that volume? So the second, I think, topmost priority will be to cut yourself to the right size.
Vinod. So as we look forward in 12 to 18 months, whenever the lockdown lifts, that's really not material. As we look in 12 to 18 months, we have to adjust to the new normal. We have to adjust our break-even levels to the size of the market at that point in time. Cash management is going to determine whether you survive or you don't survive, and your organizational structuring will have to be done smartly to minimize pain. That's what I see.
Yeah,
12 to
and
18 months.
then I will add another third thing. Uh,
Mm,
when you restart, your plants will be closed for maybe 15 days or 1 month, or then how much is the lead time? How do you address it properly? Uh,
mm,
how do you plan it better? Because this is the time when you have to plan that when you reopen the plants, how
mm,
fast you can come back to normal, to the to new norm.
mm,
How do you keep your supply chain active?
mm,
How do
mm,
you keep in touch with supply chain so that you don't suffer on the supply chain? Because that
mhm,
will be another smart thing that will be required to be done by the businesses, so that
mm.
when you restart, you should come back very fast.
True. And what about the whole issue of globalization, Vinod, and the interconnected supply chain and things
Yeah.
like that? How is that going to pan out?
The supply chains, like for example, there are a lot of you know sophisticated parts which we are importing either from Europe or from China. I think those things will continue. We will find out some alternates if those are not working. I don't think that is going to become a bigger concern, because India itself is a very large market. And if anyone has to set up shop in India, suppose we are having some problem from a particular country where we are currently getting that item, you can do that very fast, maybe within the 1 month or 2 months time in India. Or all these global suppliers, they are already setting up bases in India. So I don't think that will become a concern. That people, I think, will find a solution very fast. And as far as the incoming material is concerned, now the second challenge is going to be the export markets.
Ports.
If you are
Mm,
too much dependent on exports, which
mm,
some of the industries might be, I think
mm,
that will also have some uncertainties, because global markets are going to remain down. How much will be their requirements? Whether they will need your goods immediately or not, or how much is the downsizing required in that market? I think that is another thing you will have to think through. That how
mm.
much is your requirement? But globalization will remain. Only the thing is that what is the size of globalization? What is the percentage trade which is happening through globalization? Whether that comes down or that, but globalization will remain. I think that of course is not going to go away.
Vinod, I've also heard as a part of these conversations, and just wondering what your reaction is to that, that India is likely to recover faster as an economy from this crisis because of the fact that we have a very large domestic market.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely. I think that's very
and,
correct.
and therefore, our capability to recover from a crisis of this kind is going to be. So I hear that you're kind of agreeing with that. Is there something else you have to add to that? We will recover faster. That
No,
gives a
I
lot of
think
confidence.
there are two things. Indians are known for the best managers for the crisis. So I think we have that skill.
Mm,
So you can look at any crisis. You can look at 2008, 2009. I think we were the fastest to recover.
mhm,
We could recover in just 9 months at that point of time. Our
mm,
economy was thriving in just 9 months. Like
mhm,
if you look at 8, 9, 2011 was peak. 2010, we had recovered quite well. And
mhm,
I think our people, our managerial capability is very high.
mhm,
We can make these scenarios. We can adjust ourselves very fast. We are very flexible. We are very adaptable, and our
mhm.
people skills are very high. Our people
Very.
are, I would say, we are the best managers in the world.
That's some very great insights. You're saying that we'll all have to adjust to the new normal. So there's a whole bunch of things which are required to be done. Cash management will be key. Otherwise, likely that you will drown. Adjust to the new levels of the economy and restructure your organization so that your break evens reduce
and
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 you're able to
without
manage.
without inflicting much pain. restructure
and
without
do all
inflicting
that
pain.
in as painless a manner as is
Mm.
possible. You're not so worried about globalization. I think we'll find our sources and our supply bases soon after this crisis is over. And I think it's also very heartening that you agree with the fact that India, because of its inherent strength of professional management, as well as the fact that it has a huge domestic market, is likely to recover from this faster than many others. That's great news. That's good
And
insight.
another thing I can tell you, we are creating a totally different type of experience. And in fact, uh, it's a very good way of change management. Like, for example, we had been, in the past, we had been telling people that please do reviews on digitalization, or do net reviews, or do have, specifically use the system, do it in a more formal manner. Like, for example, we have all our software, all our customer relationship management or dealer management software, or we have excellent systems. Now, people were not using them. They were not used to it. But now, with the
Now they're
current
all
situation, we have
uh,
we have everyone is now using that. So that has
they're
become a good. I would say, it will, when we come back, I think we will not leave this. So it's a very big change. So it
very
has
big.
helped us to do this change management. Entire digitalization we are experiencing. We are having all critical business processes. We are managing everything virtually on the net.
This is very interesting. So your advice once again to others is use this period to make yourself leaner, fitter, plan better for how build the scenarios, look at how you're going to address, and make sure when the day comes, you are able to attack that with both feet on the ground. That is something. And the second thing that I hear from you is use this period, and which has also to some extent got used, to give a big boost to digitization within your organization. To some extent, it's been forced by the very nature of work from home, etc. And you can only do that if you have remote access to systems, etc. But then I think
Today,
when you come back, this will become the new normal. That's what I hear from
I think we have been able to test the strength of our systems.
you.
Today, by all the product development people, they have all the advanced software. We have created virtual network at their homes. So they have the access to all the advanced softwares, and they are using all the CAD CAM and doing all the designing work. So we are not keeping anyone idle.
That's very interesting. That is very interesting. So Vinod, move on to the next theme, which is very quickly, what day one? I mean, I know for you, day one is not that we're all sitting idle and on day one we'll go to work. Everybody's busy already. But as you go closer and closer to a normal, what's your advice to the CEO? Day one, CEO, the senior leadership team, you get together. What are you doing?
No, we would like to hit the ground running. Basically, we would come back to our normal operations in the minimum possible time. Like, I would like to start, all my plants should start working, and they should start producing from day one. And that's what our supply chain people are. They are making assessment of all the critical items, that where they are going to face constraint, what is the alternative. So they are preparing for that today itself. Like, for example, if some part is to come from China, then we are not sitting idle. We are already working on it, and we were making sure that the day the plant opens, that part should be available in our plant. And so I think we will come back to normal very fast.
Very good, excellent. And Vinod, the final theme: people and culture. So there's a lot that is happening, and people, policies, talent policies, practices are a little bit getting challenged. That so what is your advice at this point in time on the people and culture part, and what do you want, particularly the head of HR, to be doing at this point in time?
I think the first and foremost is,
as you open.
Yeah. The first and foremost is keeping the people engaged. So I think our people engagement has to be of the highest order. So the first top priority for the HR manager has to be that he or she should know that what our people are doing, what is their mental state. I think that is what is very important, and that's you can do it to having more town hall meetings during this period, or remaining in touch in the specific smaller clusters or smaller teams, and taking care of people, taking care of their health, or if there are any issues, showing the concern, uh, getting to know their families. So, and that is the, I think, the first part, and which of course we are doing it very well. And then the second part is when we get back to work, we have to create a lot of assurance to people that they should come back in a normal manner. They should not come back with fear in their mind that what is going to happen to me. Am I going to keep my job or I am going to lose my job? I think that is what will be the very, very important thing, that people should come back to work without any fear in their mind. And of course, we have to act in a very, very mature manner. We don't have to take any knee-jerk reactions. You never know, this business may come back very fast. So then you will miss all those people. Suppose you take very, fast action and try to cut some people. You may need them very fast, because if the government plays it right, suppose the government is able to run its public expenditure program in a very mature manner. Suppose they are able to, take up a lot of projects. For example, already they have huge programs on infrastructure. If they are able to, run those projects successfully, I think that will kickstart the economy again. That will create a lot of income levels. That will create a lot of activity, and then again you will start the economy moving again. So I'm looking forward to that. We should collectively, along with the government, we should work very closely, industry and the government, and then we should, work to bring the economy back on track very fast. And if we are able to do that, I think then the people, then we need people. We need more people. I think people are the most important asset end of the day. So we have to take care of our assets.
Oh, I hope so that you will need more people, Vinod. And this has been extremely insightful. And I hear you say some very, very powerful things. But more than anything else, I think what comes across, at the end of this conversation for me is the confidence that you are creating, not only with regard to your own organization, Vinod, but with regard to the Indian entrepreneur and Indian organizations, that we have the capability. We can weather all kinds of storm. We have a huge domestic economy. We have a whole army of professional managers. We are better people managers than most of the parts of the world, as you said. And if we can build strength in our scenario planning at this point in time, number one. Number two, I hear you say, if we can keep our people engaged at this point in time, then we can come back to a situation where don't take knee-jerk reactions. I hear you say, don't take knee-jerk reactions at this point in time. Then we can still come back to a situation. And you don't seem to be worried too much about globalization. Vinod, your smile and your enthusiasm is very, very infectious. And I think that's what I take away with me at the end of this conversation. Thank you so much for your insights. I look forward to seeing you on the other side when we are all back to work and able to shake hands and meet each other. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Deepak. It was very nice talking to you.
Thank you, Vinod. Thanks so much.